DHB Dihydroboldenone 1-test-sip or 1-test-sipinate, however you want to call it. This is the steroid I'm going to do today. Before I explain all about this interesting steroid, I am not a doctor, and please be sure to check the laws of your country before you decide to take or not take this. I don't want to hear from anyone trying to break the law, and I'm only giving information, not suggesting that any of you take this compound. DHB is basically, it's EQ, but it's been altered or changed. So it isn't, in fact, like EQ at all. And a lot of people hear dihydroboldenone, they think boldenone, they think, oh, it's EQ, but it's not. And they also get confused. They think, oh, 1-test-sip. Well, test-sip. Oh, it must be like testosterone. It's not like testosterone or EQ. It's like none of these at all. So don't let the name fool you. It's completely not like this at all. It comes in various esters. So some are, for example, very short acting and you'd have to inject every day. And some are longer, such as a cypionate ester, which you could inject twice a week or even less frequent than that. One of the reasons why I like this so much, like a lot, like I really am a fan of DHB, is, and this is going to be obvious because you know what I want to look like. I like to look lean. I don't like to look fat and bulky. I don't like that big bag of milk look. I just don't like it. You know, if you want to look like that, that's cool. And even this compound can help you, but it's not going to add to that. It has 0 estrogenic side effects. None at all. You're not going to get gyno. You're not going to gain water retention. You're not going to get bloated. You are going to get a hard, dense, full muscular body from this steroid. So that is why I like it. It's essentially like a Masterone or a Primo, only much more potent than that. If you know about Primobolan or if you know about Masterone, if you don't, just type it in and look at it. I've done videos on these two compounds. So think of it as an enhanced or a Primo or a Masterone on steroids. The androgenic effect. Androgenic is like the masculinizing part, like making girls basically grow like facial hair, or the aggression part, not the building muscle part, androgenic. It's equal to testosterone, roughly, okay? So it's not a safe compound for females to use, as it's got similar masculinizing traits or virilization that's gonna occur as testosterone will do. The anabolic component, it's about double that of testosterone. So it's gonna put on more actual muscle tissue. I'm talking about hard-earned muscle than testosterone. Twice as much. That is a lot. Testosterone is like, obviously, you all know how much testosterone can build muscle. This will build it more than that. Now, it will not put on as much weight as testosterone because testosterone converts to estrogen, and testosterone makes you bloated and hold on to a lot of water. And testosterone can give you a puffy, kind of bloated, moon face type of look. Even though it's not D-ball, it still can do this. If I were to compare it, I would compare it to Primo or Masterone, but at triple the potency. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that if you injected 200 milligrams of DHB in a week, it would be similar to injecting 600 milligrams of Primo or Masterone in terms of how much actual muscle you're going to gain. And the muscle you're gaining is like quality, hard, dense muscle, kind of like Anavar would be. Not a watery look, more like Winstrol or Primo or Masterone or Proviron. A good quality, dense, hard look. Not a Deca or a bloated D-ball androl type of look. What about balding that all these guys are worried about? Look, if you take steroids, you are in and you have the male pattern baldness gene, chances are it's going to speed that up. You can take finasteride and try to help with that, maybe 1 milligram a day, but doesn't mean it's going to stop it from happening. And people write me all the time, hey, you're 40 something, you have hair, It's not because I'm doing something magical. It's genetics, people. I am not attempting to keep my hairline. I am not doing anything. I have hair. It's not going away. I've used about every steroid you can ever find. It does nothing to me. If you're the unlucky one that you have that gene, that trait, then too bad. Shave your hair off and go for the bald look. It works for The Rock. It works for a lot of guys. Go for it. Is it suppressive? Of course it's suppressive. All steroids are suppressive. Every single steroid is suppressive. What's the least suppressive injectable? I would say primobolan. Half as suppressive as testosterone. You still need a PCT. You still need it. It's still shutting you down for sure. SARMs. SARMs are usually suppressive as well, especially in high doses for long periods of time. As suppressive as steroids? No. Does it still mean you're good to go, that you don't have to worry? No, you still have to worry. So nothing is truly safe here. Suppression. What is suppression? Suppression is when your body can't produce testosterone on its own anymore. When I abused steroids, and I did that for like 5 years, I did cycles and the whole thing. Then I said, okay, I'm going to stop. And then I did PCT. I went in, my testosterone levels were of that of a 95-year-old. Okay, I'm talking about under 50. I went in again 3 months later, did another PCT. It was still under 50. That's suppressive. Suppression, extreme. Not even a PCT bounced me back. That is suppressive. What about its hepatotoxicity? It's not that bad, but does not mean it's safe. You can still screw yourself up, especially if your genetics are bad for that. I don't have bad genetics for that. Other people have horrible genetics and they take anything. They take ostarine and their liver's in a mess. They take Anavar and they're screwed up from small doses of Anavar. Other people abuse Anadrol, D-bol, Halo, and their livers are fine. Some people can drink every single day a pint or a dozen beer and their liver's fine. Other people drink a bit and they're screwed up. So remember, get your blood work done and make sure that you're healthy. What about the cardiovascular component? Like, what does it do to your heart? It does the same thing as everything. It does the same thing. LDL, basically the bad cholesterol, it's going to make you have more of it. And HDL, the good cholesterol, it's going to make you have less of it. Every steroid does this. This is no exception. It's not going to do it as much as some others like Tren. Doesn't mean it's good. And so if you have the genetics for shitty freaking cholesterol because your parents suck and they gave you that gene, then there's nothing you can do about it. That's it. You have that problem. Are you going to feel it from the age of 25 to 35? Probably not. You're probably going to feel perfectly healthy. Then boom, you die one day at 55 of a heart attack. You didn't know it. You didn't care. You didn't want to know about it. You didn't want to go to the doctor. You wanted to live in bliss. Don't tell me don't go to the doctor. I don't care. And all of a sudden, one day it screws you up. You have to be aware of your HDL to LDL ratio. And the higher that ratio goes, the greater the risk of heart attack. Doesn't mean you're going to get a heart attack. Just like some people will smoke cigarettes all their life. Oh, my grandfather lived to be 90 years old, smoked a pack a day. It's not going to matter. You might not be your grandfather. It doesn't matter. You have to be careful. Well, is there anything I can do? I want to take steroids. I want to take tests, but my cholesterol's high. Or maybe your cholesterol's high even and you're not. You're natural. You can make sure to exercise, and I'll pronounce it right, exercise. You need to exercise like I do. I ride a bicycle. So just because you're a bodybuilder or you work out doesn't mean you need to be a fat piece of shit and take a bunch of insulin and growth hormone and bulk up and go to Wendy's 16 times a week. You don't need to be fat and bulk up in off season and fuck up your health just so that you can say you're a bodybuilder and a big dude. You're allowed to build muscle and be healthy. It's allowed. You're actually allowed to do this. No one's forcing you to force feed. Only yourself is. So exercise, that will help a lot. Eat healthy, that will help a lot. And get in omega-3 fatty acids, so eat your fatty fish. Essentially, if you do these things, and by healthy, I mean not eating shit and having fiber in your diet, so fruit and vegetables. So don't go keto and say, oh, but I eat a cup of spinach every day. That is not enough. I'm talking about eat a shit ton of vegetables and fruit and be healthy. I do it. It definitely helps me. And if you're one of those unlucky people that have bad cholesterol, you need it even more so. Blood pressure. DHB is not as bad on increasing your blood pressure as other steroids. It's not good, but it's not as bad because it doesn't make you hold a lot of water, okay? When you hold a lot of water, it increases the chance of having high blood pressure. And what this does is if you have arteriosclerosis or atherosclerosis or just your cholesterol's in a mess, you're gonna have more chance of getting a heart attack or a stroke. Your blood vessels, they should be wide open. If all kinds of shit is deposited everywhere, it's gonna narrow the opening and then it could get a clog. And if it's a clog in your heart, then guess what? Heart attack. If the clog in the artery happens in your brain, you have a stroke. Bad. So try not to have high blood pressure. And if you do, get it fixed. Switch it out. If you know every time you take Anadrol, your blood pressure goes through the roof, stop taking Anadrol. Maybe Anavar is safer for you. Ask your doctor, figure out which one of these is the safest. Experiment, try one and try another and say, oh, well, my blood pressure went up 20 on this one and only went up 10 on this one, so I'm gonna take this one. My blood pressure is 110/70. So when you comment, oh, this steroid meathead, my blood pressure is better than yours, so too bad. I exercise and I'm lucky. I have good genetics, so I don't have to worry about that. But if my blood pressure were 140/95 or 170/100, well, geez, I better to hell figure out what I want in life. And if it's not just to live 5 more years, then I better stop what I'm doing. Your kidneys. Yes, it can affect your kidneys. And what should you be doing with your doctor? Check out your creatinine levels and see how high they are. I don't know why. I've never been even remotely elevated. I've never even been near the high end of normal. I'm always on the low, even while on tren and all that shit, okay? I'm lucky, I don't have that issue at all. Most people do. Now remember, if you're a really jacked up big bodybuilder, like say you're 5'6" and 225 pounds of muscle, like you're in the Mr. Olympia, you can expect it has to be higher because it does relate to how much muscle you have per inch of height. So if you're like 6 foot versus 5'6", you might need to be 275 to be in that more extreme range. But anyone with a decent amount of muscle is gonna have like an increased creatinine level. So be aware that it's not super dangerous for this, but it doesn't mean it's safe. Well, how does it make you feel when you take this? Well, overall, it's a very good feeling. It doesn't feel bad at all, aside from the pain of the injection. I'll get to that in a bit. It can make you kind of sweat a little bit, like heat up a bit. So think of it as like tren, only a lot healthier and a lot safer than tren. So think of it like as kind of like a safe tren. It's very anabolic. So, overall, it doesn't make you feel like shit. Tren makes you feel like shit, okay? If you take a decent dose of tren, you will hate everything. It just makes you not feel good. It's not a drug to use for fun. Oh, I just need tren. Man, if you had the choice, DHB is going to make you feel way better. And so if you take more DHB, you can get away with less tren and avoid all those shitty negative sides of tren, but still get the same muscle by adding in the DHB. What kind of person would use DHB? Honestly, if you're cutting or bulking, it's fantastic. It's amazing no matter what your goal is. I can't think of any person that wouldn't benefit from this if they're taking steroids. So I don't care what your goal is. I am a boxer. I want it so that I can fight better. It's gonna help. You're gonna add strength and muscle without adding water weight. So you're not gonna be bloated. So any kind of mixed martial arts, anyone like that. I wanna cut, I wanna be shredded. It's gonna do that for sure because it has no water retention. You're shredded and you're not gonna get gyno and you're not gonna have the moon face, a bloated face, and you're gonna be stronger and be able to train better. Oh yeah, but I wanna bulk up. I wanna put on maximum muscle. Well, obviously you're gonna be using test with anything because that's the base, and this is gonna add to it. And then if you added even, say you were like, I wanna bulk up crazy, you add some tren, whatever, D-ball, it's gonna add to that cycle without adding to the estrogenic side effects. And so you're already getting enough estrogenic, conversion from the testosterone and the D-ball, whatever else you're stacking in. So this will just add to it and make you not need as much of the other drugs to get the same results. So it's gonna be good for cutting, bulking, anything. Well, you might say, well, why don't I just add Masteron and Primo? Well, you can, it's just the dose has to be higher. So it's like a strong Masteron and Primo. So anyone can benefit from those as well. It's like a stronger version. What kind of dose should I take? Well, I mean, honestly, it depends. So females, you should take 0. because you're going to turn into a freaking dude. And if you don't give a shit, then that's cool. I'm not against women using steroids and turning into men. It bothers me nothing unless they don't want to turn into men. Then I feel bad because you should know better and you shouldn't take shit that your coach says you to take and think it's safe without, investigating, researching, finding out from other people. If a girl was to take it and they took 100 milligrams a week of this, several months later, they're for sure getting male side effects, the virilization. They're for sure going to do it. If you're only taking 10 milligrams, well, you're probably not going to notice it. But who the heck is injecting 10 milligrams? No one. You're going to be taking Anavar or something safer like a SARM. On the men's side, well, 200 milligrams, could you take that? I would always say 200 to 500 milligrams. This is a good zone to be in for this. Why? Well, 200 is like taking 600 of Master on a Primo. That's certainly going to add to your cycle. You're adding 200 milligrams of DHB. It doesn't sound like much, but that's like adding 600 milligrams of Primo. It's going to give you the same muscle building effects. If you're into the earlier phases of your career, like you're an intermediate user, or maybe you're just doing your second year, you don't need a lot of steroids to grow. If you're into an advanced level like myself, you're going to need more. You maybe go up to 500. And, well, 500 is not much. It's like taking 1,500 Primo. That's a shit ton of Primo. It's a lot. Or it'd be like taking 750 Mast and 750 Primo. It's 1,500 together. So it's adding a lot for a little. Now, why not just take 1,000? Well, the main reason is the PIP, which is post-injection pain, and it is very high, and most people can't even tolerate. I'm going to be honest. The problem, I know about maybe only 30 people do I know that have used this. It's very hard to get. So not everyone has a chance to actually use it. So most people that I talk to, they can't even get it. They can't find it. So they can't use it. So, it's just not something that's available. It's just hard to get. It's not very common. So I only know like 30 people that have used it, but I would say 20 out of 30 complained about it so much that they pretty well just stopped using it. They're just like, nah, it's just too much to deal with. This especially happens in higher doses. These are people using usually 500 to 700 milligrams. People that are using 200, 300, they can tolerate it. How much did I use? I've used as high as 500, and it was a friggin' pain in the ass, literally. Pain in the ass, pain in the shoulder, pain everywhere. When I lower it to about 300 milligrams a week, I'm fine with it. I can handle it. It's not really bothersome to me. The stronger it's dosed, as in it could be dosed 50 milligrams per mil, 70, 100, 150, 200, what have you. The stronger the dose per mil, the more the pain is likely to occur. So if you're using something that's higher than 100 milligrams per mil, chances are quite high you're going to get pain from it. So my suggestion is you're going to have to basically, like, say you put 1 mil in there and it's dosed at 200. Well, if you put 2 mils of something else that has no pain, like say test 250, enanthate, cypionate, whatever, no pain. So then you have 3 mils and it's kind of spread out into that injection. And maybe you can do half on the left glute and half on the right glute, half on the left shoulder, half on the right shoulder. Or maybe it's just going to spread it out more and have less pain, and it's going to be diluted and mixed in a bit better. If you're finding you're having too much pain from doing your shots, try doing them more often. So if you're shooting it once a week, try twice a week. If you're doing it twice a week, try 3 times a week, maybe every other day. Try daily. Depending on the ester, of course, you're going to have to do it depending on that as well. But split your doses and make sure that you don't get too much crippling pain, because if it's so painful that you can't train properly, like if you do a leg shot and you can't do your squats and leg presses properly, or you're holding back, it's not worth it. Life has to go on. You have to enjoy things. You can't just say, oh, it hurts so bad, but it's worth it because of the gains. No, it's not. You could take Primo. Just inject a shit ton of Primo and Masteron and make up for it. It's not worth living with a peg leg, hopping around every single day, jacked up on, Advil, Tylenol, you name it, painkillers, just so that you can function on DHB, okay? It's a great steroid and you're going to like it, but not if you're going to have to deal with a life-debilitating pain, okay? This is just bodybuilding. We don't need this. We can do without it. So the positive benefits, what you can expect to get if you use this. Okay, we've covered a lot of them, but you're gonna get stronger. Not as strong as like Anadrol or testosterone, because you're not gaining that weight. It's gonna make you more vascular. So the veins are gonna pop out more. These guys, you're gonna look that. You're gonna have a better pump. Like, boom, you're in the gym, you do 3 sets, and you're like, yes, I look good now. You ever see those guys, they go in the gym, they all have a shirt on, a sweater? I see it all the time. We know what you're doing. You don't look so good because your muscles aren't so good. So you got to do your 5 sets of laterals, you know. You're doing your laterals, and then 10 minutes into the workout when you got to pump, the shirt comes off, and then it's like, yeah, look at me. I'm Mr. Whatever you are, Mr. Long Island Beach 2012 overall champion. That's what's going on. So it'll make you pumped quicker, faster, and hold it better. Your muscles will have more of a 3-dimensional, full, big, puffy look. And somebody made a comment, what is this full? And it would make a great video, but I can't do it right now, and it takes a lot of editing, and I just don't have the time right now. But full, like your chest is like popping out, and your arms are swollen, and everything looks big and great. You're not as shredded, but you're full looking. And you can work out longer and harder because obviously it's adding some androgenic effects, which is like more stamina, more aggression. So that maybe that hour of cardio after the hour and a half of weights doesn't look so bad now. What about some of the negative effects, or what negatively effect should you look for? Well, I mean, you might have a higher blood pressure, you might have some acne, you might be sweating and overheating. Not a whole lot other than what basically any steroid does. So the things that you don't even see, like your cholesterol and your liver and your kidneys and your health and your heart and all the little things. So it's not all fantastic. If there was no negative side effects and all positive, this shit would be legal in every country. Doctors could prescribe it. It would be like Frosted Flakes. Everyone be eating it, okay? It's just like, it's not safe. I'm not sitting here saying use DHB. I'm saying DHB works like crazy, but it comes with a price. It's like selling your soul to the devil. Steroids will improve your physique. It's not going to make you look like whoever your famous superstar bodybuilder is. It's certainly going to help you look better, but it comes at a price. A likely shorter lifespan, side effects, mood disorders, mood problems, and just some bad things can happen. What about, is it counterfeited? Like, how hard is it to get and all this stuff? Well, yeah, it's definitely counterfeited. If I had to ask how many people have used it, I would say 1 in 20 steroid users have used it. So not many. Most people haven't used it. So they're not going to know if it's real or not. So they get DHB, but it's testosterone. And it's like, boy, I grow muscles. I was a little bit disappointed. I expected more. It could be just Masteron. It says DHB, but in it, it's Masteron. You don't know. It's not like this is you're not going to Costco and buying this from your doctor's prescription. You're getting it underground. You're getting it through some other means, not from me. I'm not selling this stuff. Don't even pretend to ask me, because I do not sell steroids, okay? Zero selling. So, in Canada, it's legal to possess and to use this stuff. In the States, you can't use it. You can't even have it. So if you're in the United States and you're watching this, too bad you don't get to use any steroids unless you go to your doctor. And in that case, they'll pretty well prescribe you almost anything, which is retarded. But not everything, but a lot of stuff. So in Canada, you can't get hardly anything from your doctor, but stuff's legal. In the States, you can't get anything underground because it's all illegal, but you go to your doctor and they give you Anavar, Deca, testosterone, MK677, and growth hormone, and GHRP6, GHRP2, Sermorelin, and CJC 1295, and the list goes on, HCG, whatever. They give you everything. It's so crazy. Anyway, that's a bit off topic. So be careful. It's very likely counterfeit. And how do you know if it's not? Well, a good chance that you know is if it basically causes a lot of pain and it's dosed at a low level. If you see DHB and it's dosed 200 milligrams per mil and it didn't cause you any pain, I bet it's fake. If it's 100 milligrams per mil and it hurts each time, even on 1 mil, that's probably real. I've used it probably, how many times have I used it? Maybe 8 times is my guess. 8 cycles I've used with it. So I'm quite familiar with it. And I like it, and it's usually been painful. So anyway, that wraps it up. If you want to learn more about anything in life to better your whole life, anything, bloop, click up on these things Click the bell button and subscribe and like everything I do. I hope you liked the video. I have an Instagram. It's Greg Doucette, IFBB Pro. And I do have a website, gregdoucette.com. Check out my website if you want some coaching. And we'll see you soon.